What's going on? Happy hump day. Man, Love and Business on Lock podcast.
It's a lot going on. I apologize.
I am the franchise J. Claxton. To the left of me, Dr. Cass Vaughn. What's going on?
Nothing. I gotta find my glasses because I can't think.
Okay. Okay. Let me give you a chance to do that. But we are good. Okay, she got all right. She got glasses, and I think we're gonna be good. But we are here. Hopefully, your week has been wonderful. The first part of the week has been wonderful, and we're here really to get you through the second part and get you to the weekend the absolute right way. That's what we're here to do. We're here to give you the food. We're here to bring you amazing guests and really talk about some things that you might need a little help with.
Listen.
And, we all need some help with some things.
Listen, so first off, shout out to Takia, because Takia is who introduced me to Shannon and Will.
Okay, all right.
But I promise you, so I'm on the phone with Shannon, and I felt like I've known her forever. Like, we were just, talking points. No talking points.
What were y'all talking about?
None yet.
Okay.
Oh, it's none.
I'll just sit here.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I'll sit here and I'll play my part. So go ahead. Handle
so, you know, husband and wife duel.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing couple.
Mm-hmm.
Will is a celebrity photographer, videographer.
Mm-hmm. Shannon's
a celebrity creative director. I mean, if you just go to their website and look at images by Kennedy, oh my God, crazy.
All right.
Crazy.
All right.
And I don't think that all of those people looked as good as they did before they took their pictures.
Okay. I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to judge, pass judgment.
That's people that I may have known. Hey guys.
How y'all feeling?
We can't hear you. You are muted out. Unmute yourself. No. They're still unmuted. They're muted. We can't do it. Uh-oh.
Still muted.
I think it's the user's fault. Let me see if I can try over here. Can't unmute. The mic isn't connected, guys. Man, I tell you. Wait, we just had a whole conversation, so I'm just not understanding why we can't hear you guys, but wonder which one of you guys did that. I'm going to say it's the guy in the red. People who wear pink are always right.
Oh, that's not true.
Oh, that's true.
That is not true.
That is true. We're going to wait for them to come back so that they can fix their audio. How was your day today?
Long.
Okay.
It was
long.
long.
Want to elaborate?
My back feels better. My back was actually hurting from deadlifting too heavy, and I actually had my daughter walk on my back, and that actually made me feel a little better. That and the sauna made me feel a tad bit better. But her walking on my back, because you remember how they did on the Jeffersons when Mr. Bentley walked on George's back? But I don't know. I wouldn't have Mr. Bentley walk on my back. But
you should be careful with that, because when we become of a certain age, that's not necessarily the best way, even though it's relief, because inadvertently your disc can slip and be sprained.
Okay.
So you should be careful with that.
So I shouldn't have her walk on my back. I
just said you should be careful with it.
Okay. All right. But no, I'm feeling.
Come for LED.
Or you could come for LED and celebrity esthetician. Oh no! Don't cover your face. Don't cover your face. No, Don't cover your face. Don't.
So what had happened was
First of all, let's be clear.
And added a speaker, and there you
Lies.
have it.
Lies.
All I know is that when you start with what had happened,
Exactly. But
Listen, I don't. We ain't here to pass blame on nobody.
I am.
That
Take
ain't.
that one though.
I'm gonna take
That's
the
not
charge.
what we're here to do. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh, my
y'all up and
God.
running now, and we are
Yeah,
good.
we ready.
Good.
Man, y'all messed up my beautiful intro about you guys.
I'm sorry.
Hey,
I'm not
you
giving
know
it
what
back to you.
happened?
I'm
know
sorry.
what happened, right?
I was to start over.
Almost never hit that 1 hour mark, and now we're not gonna hit the 1 hour mark.
It's my fault. It's my fault. Okay, I'll take that. I'll take that.
How y'all doing though?
We good. How y'all?
Good living.
We are good. You know what I'm saying? We're good. Just taking care of business is a lot of different moving parts. Not a whole bunch of help. So it's basically all on us. But it's kind of what we do. You know what I'm saying? So I don't. We don't really do a whole lot of complaining. We just figure out a way to get it done.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And what doesn't get done was not meant to get done. That's how we
Right.
No, that's how he takes it. I don't take it that way.
Listen, God don't make no
My thoughts are
none.
no. That's not my thoughts. My thought process is it depends. It doesn't necessarily mean that it wasn't meant to get done. Sometimes you have to change your behavior so it can get done. Because sometimes our weight, WAIT, hinders our gain, GAIN. And so for me, I don't necessarily subscribe to that subscription that he just gave you guys. Y'all can have that magazine.
Go ahead. You on the road.
I'm done.
You don't subscribe to the magazine.
I said that subscription.
WAIT. Wait,
Subscription.
you was giving
I
poetry.
don't subscribe to that.
Let me find out you're a rapper now. Let me just get you a beat.
That's not what I did.
Let me find out you
I
need a beat.
produce TV and radio. I don't rap.
Call Zaytoven to somebody and get you a beat, and then
That's okay.
Go ahead. You was on the road today. I'm just saying you got the floor today. I'm just gonna be your backup singer.
I'm not interested.
I'm the pit. You be glad
That's
it's
not
be the
a
pit.
Partnership is you
I'll
doing
be
it
the
together. So if that's what you're gonna do, that's not partnership,
I'll be the pit.
and that's not a good.
No, but no. I'm sorry. We playing around, but I want to find out from you guys. I mean, because I think we all go through it. How do you manage to be able to deal with each other, deal with the businesses, and make it all work? Because that is not it's not an easy task, and it's not something that everybody.
Well, I need you to stop shaking the head like that.
It's not something that everybody can do.
I just happened to glance up and all I see.
It's not something that everybody can do. So you guys can kind of take turns and tell how you guys maneuver through everything. But because we want some tips as well.
Wait. Pause. We forgot something.
What?
Because of their sound issue.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday was Will's birthday.
Happy belated.
Oh Lord, yeah, I just turned 25.
Right.
Yeah. Plus what?
Plus
What?
14.
Hey man, look, I believe you say you're 25. I believe everything you
He's
say,
great
man.
at photography. We don't need him to do arithmetic and math. As long as he take the pictures well, we're okay with that. So I'm gonna let you have your little.
What they say, black men don't cheat, and then black men don't lie.
Exactly. I always told my wife, I said, I always tell the truth, even when I lie.
Even when you lie, you tell the truth. Even when you lie. I got it. So happy belated, Will. Hey, happy belated, my brother.
Thank y'all very much. I appreciate that.
And since it was since you just got finished celebrating your birthday, please, man, you have the floor on what steps and how you maneuver, taking care of your beautiful wife and taking care of your business.
I'm gonna start off by saying, and we tell people this story all the time, but me and Shannon, we just, I don't know, we kind of figured out how to make it work together. But in the beginning, we had some issues. She wanted, because we're like, it's weird. Like, she's totally like the opposite of me.
Okay.
I like to do my stuff my way, and she like to do her stuff her way. And so we clash a lot. And so we always tell people that, like, even before photo shoots, it be sometimes where me and Shannon have a blowout.
Right.
And then when the talent show up to the photo shoot, we just like, hello, nice to meet you, and everything is fine, and this, that, and the other, and it really be like some real beef going on. But however, throughout the photo shoot, we ain't got no choice but to come together, and then by the end of it, we back cool again. You know,
Right.
so that's my story. I don't know.
Right. And Shannon, before you go, I want to piggyback to what Will said. I know for me, I managed to maneuver like that because I was on radio for, 18, 19 years. And no matter what, had been death, car accident, money, whatever,
Yeah.
I still got to be, I can't, people don't want to hear that from me. I'm an escape. So, really had to maneuver and master that. You wouldn't even know what kind of day I'm having, what I'm going through, because it's not for you. So I was able. That's why I learned that from. I learned that just from being on the radio so long. I just gotta, I gotta just go. I gotta give you what you need. So,
People don't want to hear the sob stories. They want to hear the music, or they want
Exactly.
to hear the pictures. Like, they don't care about the creative process. And I think for us, like, I always laugh and tell people, like, with both of us being creatives, people who are creative, they have a tendency to be very opinionated and very strong-willed in how they like to express themselves through art. And we're no different. It's just the fact that we actually came from different backgrounds. So before we decided to start doing the photography, I actually came from a corporate background. And coming from a corporate background, it made me very kind of analytical on how we approach stuff and how we run business, which, clash, because he's like, look, I want to take pictures. I want to do it creatively. But I'm like, hey, how do we make the business function? Like, how do we make it profitable? And it was a learning process for us with that, learning how to be able to compromise with each other on stuff that we disagreed on, and learning how to kind of walk through those processes, even when we're on set, because, it's a lot of times where, he wants to shoot it one way. With me creative directing, I'm kind of working with whoever the brand is or the client that's hired us, and I know specifics what they're asking for. So it's like, how do we kind of come together, get the project done based on what the client needs are, but still be able to have our own creativity and stuff. And I think a lot of that also has to do with, one, being selective on the clients that we have, so that they have the trust in us to know that whatever we come up with, they're going to be satisfied with and be happy with the work. So I think it was a process. I mean, we've been together, 15 years, but when it first got started, like, it really was, both of us were younger and strong-minded and really didn't want to give in. So having to kind of learn that flow, I think, made a huge difference.
Right. And it's funny because I feel like our stories are maybe similar.
Right.
Cass comes from a different background. College degree, doctorate, that sort of thing. So, on our creative side, it's really thought out and really like analytical.
Right.
I'm just like, yo, let's go. We'll figure it out. Like, we're good, we're talented, we'll be good. You know what I'm saying? And won't nobody know because we just good. And so I get it. We kind of I guess probably dealt with the same thing and probably still dealing with the same thing. We're probably still dealing with those same issues and things, because that's still how I think. Unfortunately, I am trying to get better. I am a work in progress. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's how it is.
I'm trying to get it together because this is creative and we're gonna be good and we'll work it out and everything will fall into place. And she's like, no, we need to do it like this. We need to be here. Then this need to be spelled out. It need to be written out. We got to have a plan.
Exactly. And, you know, at the end of the day, I think, like, we had to remember, okay, after this shoot is over, we got to go home together.
Right.
And how do we manage to separate that business from that personal? Because at first it was like, I'm mad on the photo shoot. I'm mad at home too. Like, it would just carry over.
I mean, it'd be like that sometimes.
No, I mean, it wasn't like that a lot, but we really did have to learn how to separate business and learn how to communicate in a way on set where it was like, okay, what are we going to do to be able to make sure that both of us feel satisfied creatively and that we don't feel compromised or like our partner isn't listening to us. And once we kind of got to that, then it just kind of started flowing naturally. But
I think and I think this is probably in everybody relationship, like maybe y'all and us, and everybody who work together that's married or has a business together, but is two people trying to be quarterbacks. There only could be one quarterback for the most part. I mean, it's give and take mostly. Like I don't think that there's like. I ain't gonna lie. I try to be the quarterback, and I even tell her that, be like, "Let me quarterback." That's what my grandfather used to tell my grandmother, and she used to let him quarterback. But
I'm the quarterback.
So you get your Patrick Mahomes on, huh?
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, I think we take turns quarterbacking. But yeah, it's definitely a thin line and a fine balance to make it work well.
Right.
I didn't know if you had something else.
No.
So you know what? I don't think, because I'm not interested in being a quarterback at all. For me, our difficulty comes with organization and time. I'm very pinpoint. Even, as a TV producer, even as a radio producer, you have to be very pinpoint to the second, to the minute. And so where's the no, I'm not a DJ, and no, I've been on air, but I haven't had my own show as he has had his. My creativity is more so, is mixed with organization. So our clash comes with being on time. Like for me, that's like something that, like, you have to respect my time, and I need you to respect others' times as well. And so unfortunately, that's where our clash comes. But then I worked corporate television. I worked for NBC and I worked for Viacom. So I'm not coming in the office. I'm not finishing a script 2 minutes late. It is boom, done, because we all see what color I am. And somebody else may do it. But I can't afford to do it. So that's where it is. As far as the power struggle, we don't really necessarily have that, It's more so of the organization type. In my opinion.
I mean, that's sound like you too.
Yeah, it was always like, if you're on time, you're late. If you're early, then you're on time. And so that's pretty much how I operate. Because, a lot of times we as Blacks, like, there's stereotypes that they already have against us. We got strikes against us and expectations that people, expect how you run your business or how you carry on. And so my thing is always like, I want to break the stereotype. Like, I don't want to break my neck to prove to you that I'm worthy and stuff. Like, you'll see that through my work. However, I don't want to start a process or a new relationship with somebody or having a bad taste in their mouth, thinking, I don't really respect your time, or, our time isn't valuable, because all of our time is valuable. So you're talking about money when it comes down to the time, when you think about it like that. And so we did have that problem, at one point in time, but I was just like, okay, I'm the one managing the schedule. I'm the one kind of putting everything together. I would just have to lie to him and tell him the shoot is 30 minutes to an hour before.
Listen, I can lie to him and tell him it's an hour.
It usually works.
I can do that, and he'll still be late. He'll still be late.
Oh, Jay, what you got going on?
I'm just gonna let her have the floor.
No.
Listen, I mean, like, there's usually a lot of moving parts with me, and I still haven't necessarily got where I try to fit so much in a 24-hour period. You know, trying to handle some stuff, trying to handle some family stuff, still trying to work out, trying to make this happen, make that happen, and
Right.
and then sometimes I feel like I can make it up on the road, make the time up on the road, and that sometimes kind of backfires on me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's never like I'm saying F day time or F her time, or I'm gonna get there when I get there. That's never been my thought process, my mentality. That thought is not in my wheelhouse. I'm just trying to get everything taken care of. I mean, mother that just had surgery. I'm making sure she good. She ain't moving. Like, it's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah, it is.
Still trying to run the business as well, and still trying to give back to me to make sure that my health and wealth is good. Because if I ain't right, I ain't no good to her.
Exactly.
Nobody. My mother, to you guys, and my daughter, my son. I'm not good to anybody. So, and I deem that important as well. Like, I really gotta handle that. Like, I gotta go and do what I need to do in order.
So that's why we have one of these.
Make sure I'm
and
right.
You send a text message and say, "Hey, I'm running late." Communication is very key. You gotta pick up the phone and say, "Hey," and I don't care if you're talking to President Biden. If you're running late, then you should, whoever. Case in point, we were running late today. I picked up my little handy phone. It took me 2 seconds. I sent a text message over to Shannon. Hey, we won't be here this time. We'll be here that time.
I really am a work in progress. You know what I'm saying? Like, I am man enough to admit my faults, but it's not, it isn't necessarily, it's not on purpose.
It's not exactly.
Just trying to fit a whole bunch of stuff in a 24-hour day.
Right.
And even lack sleep.
Yeah,
we both lack sleep sometimes, so.
But
I think that's where that comes in at. And I do need to get better. That was really the reason why, we started working together, because I needed some change, and I knew that already. So, what I do appreciate about me is I'm very transparent. Like, I really going to tell you exactly. Look, I need some help, or I F that one up. You know what I'm saying? My fault. And I will. I'll apologize. I'll tell you. Let's. How can we make this? Make this work and make it even, or how can I make it up? Mm-hmm. But it's hard for me to admit if I don't feel like I'm wrong. It really is. I got an issue with that. That's
It's interesting, because last week's show we talked about retribution, and even today I didn't feel like there was any retribution.
No,
I was wrong. I should have called. You waited an hour. Like, there was.
I let you get it off your chest. I didn't think it was time for me to say nothing. Sometimes I gotta kind of balance that out.
I think that's what the problem is, because I communicate really well, and I think the time to have the conversation is when we're having it. Because if you wait, I know Shannon can tell you, for females, that festers inside of us. So the time to have the conversation is when we're having it, else it'll fester. And then you could drop a tissue on the floor, and the issue is you dropped that tissue on the floor, and that's really not it. It's because it's the buildup. And a lot of times, I think in every relationship, in friendships, in partnerships, in business, lack of communication and addressing a situation when it happens is sometimes what hinders growth and progress.
I agree with that.
Right.
However, everything that you just said is the same thing that Shannon tells me. And I ain't gonna lie, and I'm just gonna be honest. I hope I don't sound ignorant or nothing like that. I absolutely like avoid conflict or conversation sometimes, because I feel like when you bring them back up, we're gonna fall back into phase one, like when we mad at each other again. And so I be like, I tried to tell Shannon, and this might not make any sense, I don't know, but I told Shannon, I was like, man, I don't bring that stuff back up because we're gonna fight about it again. I'll be like, and quite honestly, when issues come up, I told her that what's the word? You tell me something. If an issue come up, you tell me about it or something like that, and we still might not have had that conversation, but I still be like, all right, I know not to do that again, but I don't want to talk about it.
Oh,
I talk to myself about it and be like, maybe I'm gonna work on myself, in that area or whatever, and then keep it moving. But I do not want to rehash a conversation about the issue that we had.
So you know what? I think it's not rehashing it, right? I think it's about dealing with an issue head on. And I say this about people, period. Yeah. If you allow someone to cut slick with you, right? Mm-hmm. Then what are they going to do the next time? Cut slick with you. Right. However, had you nipped it in the bud right then and there cannot be a buildup. See, with disagreements, even there has to be a compromise, right? And it doesn't always have to be a yelling situation. And so it's like a disagreement or a challenge is like a cancerous polyp, right? Mm-hmm. So if you don't go in,
shorty.
if you don't, but just ingest what my role is.
I talk to you every day. I know.
Even if you talk the other day, there's a difference in talking and ingesting it. It with a cancerous palate, if you don't get the chemo or the radiation or take the pills to get rid of it, it grows and grows and grows. Same thing in relationships. So if there's an issue and you don't deal with it head on, no matter how uncomfortable it is, because you have to be able to have the hard conversations. So if you don't deal with it, then next week when Shannon leaves the bathroom and you see hair on the sink, you won't be upset about the hair on the sink, right? But the hair on the sink will be the thing that you have an argument about. So
I got a hot bit, right? I got a hot bit because she sound like me for real. Like some it's stuff that we talked about, and we give each other a lot of food. I've learned so much from this young lady, and this young lady has learned so much from me. Because we're different in a lot of different ways, She's very, very cut and dry. I'm very politically correct, Yeah. Sometimes we need to be cut and dry. Sometimes we need to be politically correct. It's not always cut and dry. It's not always politically correct. Just like today, she was upset. Say what you want to say. I got to let it. It wasn't time for me to.
But it was. You gotta let me finish. We can't deem if it's time.
We can't talk at the same time.
Because I didn't go off.
Okay, listen. We can't talk at the same time. My thought was it was not time for me to address it. I heard her loud and clear, right? We were in the car for about 45 minutes. I heard her loud and clear. I didn't need to address it. Now, if you were looking for me to apologize, I'm saying now I apologize. You were right. I should have called. I was on a call. I should at least text I should have. You are exactly 1,000% right. But I wasn't going to deal with it right then and there.
But that's wrong.
That's just
because an apology and dealing with something is two different things.
I'm just saying that was my thought process. You know what I mean?
But you thought wrong.
No, listen, we're not always right.
But we've had this conversation. An apology comes first.
I
deal
am going
with the situation later.
I know. I'm going to maneuver how I need to maneuver. I know you.
Yeah, but so, it wasn't going to get you really well.
No, it's cool. I know like I know this young lady, but I do understand that we talk about if you talk to me with aggression, like you're attacking, you can be 1,000% right. I'm not hearing it. I'm a defend.
Absolutely.
And you can be right. I'm a defend because you coming at me with a whole bunch of energy like you attacking me.
Right.
Instead of having a conversation. And she had a conversation.
I was getting ready to ask the question.
Listen, and you had the conversation. Again, I'm transparent as hell. I can't, but it just for me wasn't. I know we were talking to you guys today. You know, I know we were going to see our family today.
Right.
And I needed to figure out when the proper time was. I'm not saying that I was right.
Because what I was going to say to you is.
It wasn't saying that.
So
I was right. I'm just telling you the
because you said you had to figure out.
Yes.
But I want to stop you there, right? Because you sounded a little off. And the reason why I said you
sounding
listen,
off.
You have to listen. The reason why I said you're sounding a little off is because if you knew that we had to be in front of someone and you knew we were going to see our family, then the proper thing is to apologize and then we deal with the rest of the conversation later, because that immediately kills it. And you know that it immediately kills it.
You wouldn't have said nothing?
No, I have not.
I didn't say.
No.
I asked you a question.
If you
it's
know
a question
me,
I asked.
So if you know me, you know that I would not have said anything. Because even now, some months ago, he was like, "Oh, we shouldn't go back and forth." So I'll get quiet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell y'all, I will get dead silent. Just listen. 10 minutes later, but yo, I ain't say nothing. Why we still talking?
Look, let me tell y'all. So
I'm listening, Shannon.
we are very transparent as well, and we've become advocates for everything from like mental health, just making sure you're taking care of yourself with all this craziness through the pandemic and stuff, and just relationships in general. And for us, it's kind of like we realize every couple, regardless of whether you're married or together for a long period of time, everybody has a period where they struggle and where they may not be connected or they may be off. So, quick story. Last year, around the beginning of the year when the pandemic was getting started, we're like, oh my God, okay, we got high-risk parents. We work in a customer service business where we have, a very close interaction with our clients. Tensions were just at all times because we were stressed out. We were just like, okay, how do we pivot and still come out the other end of this okay? And it was around that time when I had a friend on Facebook. She worked for a psychiatrist, and they were at a University of Minnesota, I believe. And they were doing a couples therapy study. And she hit me up and she was like, "Hey, we're looking for married couples or people who are interested in doing this study." And I was like, "Sign us up. We'll take that." Because one of the biggest things that are our issues is that we communicate differently, and our expectations of communication are completely polar opposites. Whereas I'm the type, I'm going to keep explaining and talking to you, going on about what the issue is, because I need you to understand it so that we don't have to address it again in the future. Like, we should be able to talk about it once, get past it, and not have it again. And I don't think that's what we were having. And like he said, he has a tendency to try and avoid conversations because he doesn't really want to bring something up that he thinks is going to cause dissension between us again. And so one of the things that we kind of learned in working through therapy is, one, like the way that we were handling situations wasn't necessarily healthy, because I would do things where I'm just like, okay, I'm upset. I don't want to talk about it anymore. And I'll go a day or two and we just don't have to have any kind of communication. And I thought, okay, I'm keeping the peace. I'm handling it right. And the therapist who was working with us, she was like, "Nah, you're actually doing psychological warfare." And I was like, "Oh, me?" And
I said, "Thank you."
And she was like, because basically you're punishing him and not talking to him. And that makes a person, like, for him, he's very much of an extrovert. He likes to be around people. So to be in a place where you're not talking to him, where he's not interacting, if we're not working or we're not leaving or going anywhere, and he's just to himself, like, that for him is kind of depressing. And she was like, you really have to know your partner and what his capability is to be able to handle stuff like that and how you choose to approach them. And, all of these years, I'm like, I'm a communicator. If I have a problem, I'm going to address it with you. Like, let's sit down and talk about it. And he's not. So we had to really learn the tools of what works with each other. And I know me, I'm like you, Cass. I'm very like straight to the point. Like I can be politically correct, but when I'm talking about something that's important and I want you to make sure that you understand me, I don't want to beat around the bush. I don't want to leave any room for misconception. And so I'm like, with me being very direct, that should resolve the problem, because as long as I communicate with you and you know what the problem is, then we should be good. But
Right.
one of the things that was brought to my attention was the way that you addressed him, or that I was coming at him, automatically put him on the defense. And he just shut down. And I was like, what's going on? Like, I don't understand. I'm trying to talk to you. We're trying to get this right. And he was just like, I'm checked out. Like, I'll check back in, whenever. And it's funny, I like to joke about him because he's a Gemini. And I'm like, you have those split personalities or whatever. He'll be mad 1 minute, but 5 minutes later, he'll be like, all right, cool. You want to go ride scooters? You want to go do something?
I could get into a fist fight with somebody right now and be cool with them in the next 5 minutes.
After you whip their ass, you all right, huh?
The interesting thing is we're both Scorpios, right?
Okay.
So I can honestly say it. I will text instead of talking, because I don't want to come off crazy. I'll try to have a conversation, but if he doesn't want to talk about it, regardless of how you come at him, he's just not going to do it. And that's unfair communication, and that's where the buildup comes, And so what I've tried to do now is, like, in our conversation, I'll say, I'll try to talk things out and then walk away. So the other day I tried something because I took note on something I was watching about relationships. And what they said is that you could be talking and speaking to the person, but not speaking the same language. So here I go, I'm like, okay, so let me try this. So we had a conversation about something. Then I came back and said, I know we talked about it, but what did you hear? Immediately, I don't want to talk about it. We're having a good day. And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, I have now tried everything that everybody has told me. So I don't know, like, where the lack is or how to get past that, because I'm like, man, I talk nicely. I try to have conversations. I'll say, hey, I'll send a text message. No response from the text message. I'm like, you have to deal with an issue, because if you don't deal with an issue, it builds up. So transparently, a few weeks back, we had an explosion. And I had to say to him, hey, we had that explosion because I've been
holding on to stuff.
I've been talking to you about stuff, but you don't respond. So I don't,
I don't know if that's a man thing or not, but you said two things that I could identify with. One thing is, I told Shannon, I said, listen, I mean, this might sound stupid too, but I said, sometimes we text, and I won't say that, I'm not saying that we arguing, but I guess sometimes we do argue through text, but I can't get out what I need to say while we texting, and knowing that she can read it, and I don't know if she's comprehending it, but I can say what I need to say, and it's not no arguments going back and forth physically, like face to face or whatever.
Gotcha.
We're not hearing each other at all. The second thing was, and that first thing, by the way, I can go on and on about that. But the second thing is that I told Shannon, I said, listen, I said, and we're all having a good time, because she do this sometimes. We're all having a good time and we having drinks. Don't hit me up with the, I know we're having a good time and everything, and don't get mad, but I need to talk to you about something. I'm like, I'm already on the
Right.
fence. I'm like, we're about to fight. And I'm about to go home. We're about to go home right now, because I'm like, I already know. There's no way I'm not going to be able to, not be mad about what you about to say, because you about to bring me out. We up here, and now you about to bring me down right quick. And
Right.
you want have a serious conversation while we out having fun?
I think
doing that.
But I think part of that comes from when you're out and you're having a conversation, you're having a good time or whatever, there's a natural progression of just conversation. So one conversation leads to a next, that leads to a next.
Okay,
And then you
right.
think about, okay, well, that was never addressed, but I get your point. Now, we made an agreement. He was like, Shannon, we have date day. We don't want to talk about problems on that day. Let's enjoy the day and we'll address it at another time, which is cool. However, the problem comes in when they don't want to address it at another time. So then you're sitting there like, well, what's a good time to address it? Because you can't do it when we have lunch. You can't do it when we're laying on the couch watching a movie. Like anytime you're in a happy, so it's just like it just never gets
never.
Never. No, but I heard her, and I took it and I responded. I understand. I got you. I hear you loud and clear. I'm with you. I got you. Right. And this is what we had. And then it was like, hey, well, what about when I'm talking about? This is why. Did you hear what I said?
That's not what I said. No.
And I was like, yes, I heard what you said.
That's not what I said. What I asked
I'm
you
not
was,
saying verbatim that's what you said, but it was similar.
No, it wasn't even similar to that. I was asking you, what did you hear from what I said?
And I said I heard it.
No. What I heard it does not tell me that you understand.
I did.
No, you're not understanding.
Smart guy.
No, you're not understanding. That's not fair. Like saying I heard it is not saying I understand. Because in order for you to understand something, you have to be able to sit under me to hear everything that I'm pouring out. That's what it means by understanding something. You have to be able to sit under the person. So if I ask you if you understand and you say, I heard it, that's just like me saying, do you see the color red? And you say, yes, but really you see burgundy and I see candy apple red. We're speaking the same language, but we're not talking about the same thing. And so that's why it's always good to clarify, hey, I know I said this, but just out of clarity, do you truly understand, and what did you get from it?
And I said that I heard, and we was good. Like, so I didn't want to go back down, go reverse and go back down that road.
I think
right.
I think sometimes
I had to ease on down the other road.
I think sometimes
got the winds on.
I think sometimes in relationships you have to give the other person the credit to not think that it's always going to be negative, because see, if you put out the negative thought process, then that's what you're going to get back from a conversation. But if you approach the conversation in a positive light, then you're going to get positivity back. So if you already go like this, you don't hear anything else that's being said.
I wasn't.
You were, because you already assumed that if you dealt with a situation.
I wasn't that. I just said, when I got it, I ain't want to go down that road no more.
But you just said you didn't want to go down that road.
Because I just didn't want it.
No, that's not what you said, because we were good. But that's assuming that if we go down that road, we would not be good, which it is in reverse. If you go down that road, then you get the clarity of understanding, and you don't have to go back down a road that you've already traveled.
I promise I understand.
Now, let me tell y'all something. Let me tell you something right quick. Now, for some reason, it's gonna sound maybe like I'm contradicting myself, or that I don't know what it might sound like, but I hear what you're saying, and that's the same thing that Shanny says. I'm gonna tell you a couple of things though. Sometimes I be like, I might not say I understand, but I hear you or something like that, and then she says, "Don't patronize me," and then I say, hey, I love you. I do not want to fight today. Like, we could talk it out, this, that, and the other. And she say, oh, you trying to shut me up? And then I'll be like, and it just like is never ending. It's like, and that's why I feel like from the men or man point of view, like there's no winning.
So I think that a lot of it comes from you have an experience like so many times that you just automatically assume that this is what the outcome is going to be. And so my thing is like, if you get approached differently, or if the way that, it's brought to you is different, then your response should be different as well. And it should mirror, if it's on a positive, it should
Right.
mirror that.
Yeah.
And so to automatically assume like, hey, I have a question, and it's here we go, and I'm like, damn, I'm just about to ask you if you took the trash out, or did you do this, or did you do that? But like it's almost like you're gun shy to address issues because you already know that response is going to be negative from them, and you're just like, okay, I've tried so many different ways to do this, and now I'm kind of running out of ideas of how to play it. And like I like to tell Will all the time, I come from a coaching background. I used to coach. I used to play sports and stuff like that. And one of the things that you learn in that is you can't deal with everybody the exact same. We had kids on the court that we could get on them and it would make their performance be better. And then you had other kids, it would make them kind of coil into a shell, like they couldn't handle that kind of intensity. And so one of the things with him was, I know that, and some women may disagree or whatever, to get him to respond and be open to conversation, you kind of have to stroke his ego a little bit. Like, hey, give him a couple of accolades and stroke his back and tell him all the great things that are going on, but there's some stuff we got to work on. And, at one point in time, I was like, why do I have to do that? Like, to me, I don't want to BS. Like, let's get to what the issue is and address it. However, I try to now meet him where he's at because I just noticed, like, there's certain ways that I approach him and it's automatically cut off. And so from that experience, it was just me having to change and adapt to what works best with us as a couple in terms of our communication skills and making sure that, hey, I know you heard me, but like you said, did you understand?
I'm just gonna say I'll take those, revert back to those accolades. That's what I need, and then I'll open up, and then we can have a regular conversation. Because, like they said, like if you like come at me like sideways from the jump, I'm not hearing anything, and I'm not gonna understand what you're talking about, and I'm just ready to fight at that point. Like I'm just gonna argue. And just to argue because you brought me here. And so I like the accolades point of view.
You like the accolades point of view? I get
Guys, it's 8:47.
Time for games.
So we've gone over this. There will be 3 questions asked. Okay?
That's right.
And so I'll ask the question, we'll answer it to give you an example, and then boom, you guys will look at each other and do the same.
Okay.
So if you see me looking down, that's because I've been scrolling back and forth. As I listen to Will, Shane, and I'm like, so what should I ask him? So I've been scrolling back for like, So the first question is this: what is something small that we can do daily for each other to make our relationship better? So Jay, what is something small that we can do daily to make our relationship better?
Well, we just talked about communication, so I can communicate better to make the relationship better. I could, because sometimes it's like, I'm on my way, or you already know me, but I could do a little better. I could do a lot better with having a conversation or communicating, or simply just, hey, I'm en route, I'm on a business call. Let me just at least text you and let you know what's going on.
Well,
he took my answer. But I got another one though.
Wait, did she have the answer?
Nah, yeah, she did.
Did you have
I'm
the answer,
perfect.
Cassie?
I'm perfect.
No.
I'm perfect.
No.
Well, I'm perfect. I'm perfect.
Figure out
That's
So I really am. I'm gonna tell you, I struggle with having an answer for this because I believe, right? I believe that everything that he has asked me to do to change, like things that bother him, I do it. So now I'm like at an impasse. Like, okay, what else can I do? And I'm not sure what it is because I've tried every approach that it is. So if it was something that I would have to pull out and say that I could do better, is I could be a little bit more patient with him. But I don't feel as though that I'm not patient with him in our relationship. I'm only, don't do that, please. I'm only not patient when it comes to him and time.
Listen, I let it. You see, I backed down. I backed down. I felt like what I was doing was great do. I needed to do, but I backed down.
Yeah.
I have no problem taking the high road. Sometimes I just got to take the high road. I'm okay with that.
Well, what are some things that you could do better?
But if I don't want to take the high road, I'm going to say it.
Right.
Well, go ahead and answer the question.
Nah, I'm gonna say, before I answer that, me and Shannon had counseling, and that was like the best thing ever. And that ended, but we're looking for more counseling because it's always good to have that third person that you can talk to, because two people is a, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I'm here for y'all.
It's hard to figure. Exactly.
I agree. I agree that counseling is very important. But what I feel about with counseling is that you have to take it serious, and that you have to be completely transparent, because none of us are perfect, you know, and we all have issues and things that we've dealt with in the past that sometimes come up in your current relationship. So I am an advocate for counseling. I really am. I'm an advocate. Him not so much, but I'm an advocate for counseling.
Yeah,
y'all my counselors.
But
I'm being honest. Like, y'all are my counselors. Like, I'm not even being funny. It sounded funny, but this platform that we have, we get a lot of food from our guests. You understand? Like, and then we're having a conversation. Hey, this works for us, or this happened, or I should have did this. I like that, instead of this one person sitting here and telling me what I've done and telling her what she's done, and I don't know what you're doing, fam.
I think with counseling, though, one of the biggest things that we kind of learned was that your counselor, like, that is everything that makes a difference of who you're working with. Because we've had other people who have like, yeah, we went to counseling and you know, I didn't like this, or my partner didn't like that, and the way that they approached us and stuff. And one of the things for us that was really positive is like, we never felt like she chose a side. She never attacked either one of us like, you're wrong. Her goal while working with us was, I need to make sure that you hear what she's saying, and that when you interpret that in your mind, that you're interpreting what she's actually saying, and you're not creating another story of what you think she's saying. And that really, like, it was a game changer.
She wouldn't let us veer off.
She wouldn't. It was like very uncomfortable at first, because she would really make you, you know, say how you feel, and your partner would be like, what I heard you say was, and you need to repeat it back, because a lot of times, you know, women, the way that we process stuff is completely different from men. So what I'm saying, the way that you're processing it has nothing to do with what I'm saying. And I learned that through me thinking, hey, I feel like I'm articulate and I explain to you, and, you know, I try and roll it all out to make sure that you understand everything. But his head was creating a different story of what I was saying. And so her making us have those tools of how we communicated was a game changer for us, like literally, because our the biggest problem was communication and being able to understand what they were saying. And so until we got those tools to be able to use that to really be able to process our partner, it was just like we were spinning our wheels. Like, I could talk and talk and talk, and he was hearing nothing. So I think that was great.
And I'm gonna go ahead and answer your question before I say something else after that. But I'm gonna say that we were taught to every day tell your partner something that they like about what they're doing that day. Like, Shannon might have helped me with my parents or something that day, and I will be like, hey, I appreciate you, you know, looking out for my parents today. That really meant a lot to me, and I appreciate that. And she said that you know, I don't know.
She wanted you to focus on positive reinforcement, because she said a lot of times when we got into arguments, you know, you remember that one negative thing that he said,
You don't
and
remember
it
the
takes,
positive.
you know, 9 to 12 different positive comments to erase that. So like literally she was like, every day you need to say something positive to your partner, because, you know, we can focus on something so insignificant that they might have said in the heat of the moment and not have meant, but that's the one thing that we continue to focus on. So she was just like, you need to make sure that one, you're constantly like touching each other or you're affectionate. We were just like, okay, well, that's cool because that's not a problem for us. We've always been affectionate, but making sure that we're not focusing on the negative aspects of an argument or taking it to heart, like that was something that we really had to work on.
And before we move on, Jay, I'm gonna say that I do understand where you're coming from, because while we sitting over here talking to y'all, we have an understanding that, because by talking to y'all, it makes us understand that, all right, so
We're not the only ones.
we're not the only ones that's, you know, having whatever
struggles.
whatever struggles we having, and we're alike. And so,
Right.
and then you could get some insight from our side, and we could get insights from your side, and that's
Right.
why I know where you coming from with that.
Right. I know we've talked about, I've got so much food because of this platform, you know,
Yeah.
just in talking and, you know, hearing her talk and, you know, she hearing me talk and us hearing you guys on that side and
Right.
things that work for you guys, things that didn't work, you know, that works. I felt for me, and I'm going to take that in a lot more than I'm just that one person trying to maneuver and make sure we're good. I
Right.
like this. I like this format a lot better for
Right,
me.
exactly.
Yeah, for me.
I understand.
Yeah.
So question number 2 is, it's a 2-parter, okay? So part 1 is define our love. And then the second part is in the next 6 months, my goals for us are. So define our love.
You first.
Right.
I went first last time. You're first.
So I'll go first for the first part, and the second part.
How you just dictating everything?
Because
man?
it's my questions.
Come
So
on.
if I was to define our love, I would say that our love is like an unpeeled onion. The more you peel back and get to the center, you get to the fruit and to the juice of it.
This wasn't fair.
You told me to go first. I went first, and I answered.
Our love is resilient because regardless of what goes on, like I'm gonna stand tall for you, you're gonna stand tall for me. I don't care if we on a high, I don't care if we in the valley. And you know, even if we're not seeing eye to eye, you know what I mean? Like we have bounced and made it through trials and tribulations, even when most people thought we weren't going to make it. Most people that we knew, most people that we used to come in contact with, did not think that we were going to be in this place. So our love is battle tested. It really is.
And the second half of that is in the next 6 months, your goals for us are
to be in a better place, you know, in our relationship wise, being a better place financially and in business. Because still, I do definitely think that, you know, as much as we try to, you know, separate business and personal, when if we're not necessarily winning in business, I feel like for me, sometimes it rolls into the personal.
Oh, wow. So in the next 6 months, for me, my goal is for us to be in one city, in one house with completely blended families and just leveling up to the next stage and phase of our life.
They took all our answers. You asked me first. Golly.
And listen, I'm sorry. You know what? But she does. I'm telling you, she does.
I think that's a cop out.
A much better job. I don't care. We've been beefing.
Man, listen, I'm gonna say the same thing. I feel like our love is powerful, just like theirs. I feel like that is blossoming, like that onion we ate at Outback the other day. You know what I'm saying? Like, and cause like the same thing that y'all said, like we're battle tested, and we hung in there the whole time. So like that's how I know that it's real. You know what I mean? So that's that. And in the next 6 months, I see us I see our relationship getting stronger. I'm not trying to sound cliche or nothing like that, or fake or nothing like that. And I feel like in the next 6 months that we're gonna like work on our other businesses and do those things together and just be what's the word? Get that. So that's where I'm at with you.
So, okay. I would say our love. I'm gonna take a play from your playbook. He likes to use the word unorthodox a lot because the way he does stuff and his thought process is like pretty much throw everybody for a loop. But the way our relationship began was, you know, really from a friendship, which really isn't that crazy. But like we really were friends. Like we knew everything about each other, and both of us were dating other people, and we eventually separated, like being cool, moved to a different state, and then came back together on a weekend and was like, oh, all right, let's do this. Like you moved to Georgia from Louisiana, and I'm gonna be down there. You break up with your girl, I'm gonna break up with my dude, and let's do that. And we did that. And it just started out like on something that most people are like, really? And the fact that we've been able to make that work through all the challenges, for me, I think is one thing that is why our relationship is resilient. To say that it started out on some craziness, but
yeah,
it's kind of cool.
That was kind of crazy, but it worked.
For the next 6 months, I pray that we will be a step closer to a child. Because we're actually, we started old, y'all. Like we decided to start trying to have kids about 2 years ago, and I'm 43. So we're going through the whole process of doing IVF. So we're hoping that within the next 6 months, you know, we've gotten closer to that next step of being parents. So that's
nice.
Wow, that was a good one.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah, nah, I gotta get Junior up in here, man. You know.
Right? You say you gotta get Junior up in it, huh?
Yeah. And I mean, like she said, we started late, but the doctor told us that she was like, Shannon, I don't know if you noticed or not, but a lot of people are having kids at your age right now, and things of that nature. So we feel good about it, and yeah.
Age just a number. It's a mentality. It's just, you know, it's not. It's just a mentality,
right?
Exactly. You know what I mean? That's it. If you feel old, you will be old.
Be old, exactly.
That's it. I usually do something fun, but I feel like because I've learned something, and I wanna find out if you guys happen to learn, you know, during this time. So since the pandemic, what have you learned? Since the pandemic. So since the pandemic, you know, which is crazy because we talked about, you know, me and trying to fit everything in 24 hours.
Yeah.
I learned to not procrastinate and just kind of, you know, do what I say when I think about it. I learned that, and I would go into I would really tell you what I learned. I mean, the example. So the example, I'm trying to be as fast as I can. The example was on the radio. I went IG live every time I was on the radio. I mean, since IG had the live where you could go live, I was going live.
Right.
The pandemic happened, everything shut down. I'm like, okay, I'm still going to mix from home 3 days a week, and I'm gonna go live 3 days a week. I said it and didn't necessarily do it. I was going to work out. I was doing tour days, training and working out. And by the time I was finished, we would just, sit. We would eat, drink, and we end up building.
Yeah.
But what ended up happening was because I didn't do that, 1 week went by, I didn't do it. The second week went by, and then that Saturday, D Nice went live and then shut the world down, right? Yeah. And no disrespect to D Nice, because he did his thing. I'm just saying that it was something that I said I was going to do. I had been doing, and it would have been perfect timing because everybody was shut down, everybody was in the house, and I didn't do that, and he took off. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He took off.
So the question that you're asking is, what did we learn since the pandemic? So for me, what I would say is really short and sweet. What I learned since the pandemic is that we're supposed to be together. Because we're unstoppable, because we make hell mad every time we do something great, because no force can come between us. And we survived through the pandemic when so many people split apart. I know the pandemic showed me even more that this was God ordained and not us ordained. And so I'm going to continue to make Satan mad and have hell screaming, fire and brimstones, because I know that we are what it's supposed to be.
You've been on fire today.
You almost made me cry.
She been on fire.
Wait a minute, get close. Well, let me see the tear in your eye. Let me see the tear.
She been on fire today. I ain't even gonna lie. Like I usually, she been on fire. Usually, I'm the over talker. I got 1,001 points. I'm on the road. You know what I'm saying? She on her Steph Curry. She walked into the shot that she.
I'm on my Michael Jordan. Steph was okay.
The difference was Steph went. He walked into the arena.
The difference is
he
that when I played basketball, Michael Jordan was who? I'm on my Michael Jordan. Steph a little too young for me.
No, Steph, as soon as he walked in, when Steph walked into the arena, he in range.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now, Mike was a different animal, but I'm just saying, as far as your jumper, Steph jumper is better than Mike. That's it.
But Mike makes has made a lot more
yes,
money.
definitely.
So I'm on my Michael. I digress.
And I got financially wiser as well. So I did want to tell you guys, I should have said that instead of the IG live, because I feel like that was a little more important. I definitely got financially wiser and smarter during the pandemic. You know what I mean? Like learn.
Funny you said that, because I was I don't know who it was. Y'all said was shy earlier. But somebody was shy. I'm shy.
Yeah, the person is still in the earshot who's very shy.
I told Shannon, I said I'm so shy that I do feel like they held me back some, more so in the beginning of my career or whatever. And I want to tell people out there that if you're shy to I mean, that's easier said than done, but you got to get out of that, and you just got to be yourself and do what you got to do, because I know if it wasn't for me being shy, that I would have skyrocketed a long time ago.
Right.
Way earlier than what I did. You understand? So I just want to get that out the way. And what was the question again?
What did you learn during the pandemic?
What did you
During
learn?
the pandemic, I learned the same thing y'all learned, because y'all took my answer again.
Man!
You know what I'm saying?
Man, I'm over you.
During the pandemic, everybody was stuck at home and we had to figure things out because me and Shannon, we couldn't get out there and do photo shoots because we were scared. And so that was that. But we had to like move on to other things. And so we started working on other businesses. Shannon started doing resin art, and she started selling that online. And yeah, we just pivoted. And what else we were doing?
That was it. I think for us, it was learning how to really just pivot and kind of figure out, like, okay, if this is going to be on pause, if this is a conscious decision that we're making to not do the photography just to stay safe ourselves until we know more, or to look out for family members who were more of a high risk, we had to learn how to figure out, like, how we're going to be able to survive. And luckily, like, we just been blessed. Like, we got through it. Like, family got through it. We've been through a lot of stuff. But I think for me, what I learned in the pandemic, which was kind of difficult because it made me kind of like self-reflect on myself. And like our therapist asked, she was like, Shannon, do you want to be happy or do you want to be right? And it made me kind of like sit back and think like, well, I mean, if I'm right, then why wouldn't I be happy? Like, I just need him to acknowledge that I'm right, you wrong, and we keep moving. Like, it'll be okay. But the way that, you know, we would go back and forth when we disagreed or whatever, it wasn't productive, when we weren't getting anywhere and it wasn't resolving any issues. And so I really had to learn how to pick my battles. And for me, for somebody who likes to talk everything out and make sure that we resolve everything and so we don't have to address it again, it was a difficult process to be like, is it really that serious for this particular issue? And I really did have to learn kind of how to be like, you know, I don't want to argue today. I want to be happy. I don't want to fuss and fight if it's not that serious. It's not something that, you know, is a deal breaker in terms of relationship wise. So that's what I learned. Like, I learned I would much rather be happy than having him acknowledge, oh, you're right. Because at the end of the day, even those times when he acknowledged you were right, to get to that point was like, okay, well, how much damage did we do to our relationship? You know, trying to prove that I'm right. So that was that for me.
Got you. I think it was the pandemic was meant to happen. It was to make us stronger. It was to make us see some things that we didn't see. I think if you weren't supposed to be with your significant other, it showed you that as well, because you spent more time. I know usually you guys are popping and moving and doing all these things.
Right.
Yeah, it forced you to slow down and really be with your partner 24/7, 365, you know, and especially for those that had kids. Now, you know, you didn't believe that little Billy was bad in school. You in the house with little Billy every day, 7 days a week. You seen little Billy ass was really bad, really what the teacher said. But we definitely went past time. So I do want to tell you guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule in the middle of the week to sit down and talk to us and to be on this platform. We're greatly appreciative, you know, for you guys. We just want to tell you thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
And please,
it's nice to see other thriving, successful Black couples that are functional and making it work. Because, you know, a lot of times they like to think that Black couples aren't going to make it, and, you know, divorce rates and stuff, we're going to lead. And it's nice to see other Black couples that are going through the same stuff, learning how to make it work and still thriving in business and having that balance of love and business. So it's cool. We appreciate you guys having us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We do want you to hold on after we close out. Don't completely go all the way off once he closes out. But I do want to tell everybody, please make sure you protect your circle. That is important. You pick up the habits of the people closest to you. So you want to make sure that these people around you bring you some value. At this point, in this juncture in our life, you know, relationships got to have some value. You know, we have to give value to somebody, and somebody needs to give value to us. So with that being said, Will and Shannon, thank you so much. It's the Love and Business Unlocked podcast with myself, Franchise Jay Claxton, and Miss Dr. Cass Vaughn. So who we have? Are we on Friday?
Friday we have to go to an event. Friday.
Okay.
So we come back.
So we
next
are. We
Wednesday.
back next Wednesday. In
Next
7 days.
Wednesday.
7 days. I'm just where she tell me to be. You know, that's it. But
Just
you know,
not on time.
you go ahead and close out, shorty.
No, go ahead.
Another Business on Lock podcast. Will and Shannon, thank you so much. Hold on, please, and we
Okay.
done. Thank you so much.
Thanks.